Progress.
Good to go? All right, shall we roll call? I'm Kate Reese, I'm here. Chuck Yang, does not appear to be here. Alyssa Prophet. Here. Great, thank you. Michelle Victor. Here. And Alex appears not to be here. Beth Kowalski. Hello, Beth.
Present. Online.
Rizal Peguero Amante. Sadie Wilson. Hello, Sadie.
Here.
And Timothy Perlowitz. Okay. Brings us to approval of the agenda for the May 22nd.
Motion to approve?
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is approved. Let's approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, minutes are approved, and that brings us to regular business and the best part of the meeting. Laura.
Item 1, consideration with possible action on the request by Alder Johnson on the creation and support of a poet laureate for the city of Green Bay. Included in the agenda packet is rather brief, because nothing was forgotten. But Alder Johnson has made a request for us to look into exploring the creation and support of a poet laureate for the city. Back in 2019, prior to the pandemic, back when Celestine was kind of advising this group as well and assisting me, we were in communications with several local poet group that we were looking into establishing a city poet laureate. Everyone knows what happened, the pandemic happened, things just got kind of left. So staff was looking into this previously, and now it's kind of fortuitous that Alder Johnson has made this request. So I believe the recommendation that we have in the agenda is to direct staff to research how the PAC may create and support a city poet laureate.
I have some thoughts.
As I say, thoughts, questions?
Well, I wish
discuss.
Alderman Johnson were here so he could tell us why a poet laureate and why not a resident artist or a playwright or anything else. I know that this group is not limited to visual art, but I'd just love to know why that and above all else. And then if we did go forward with looking into that, which I think is a lovely idea, welcome Alex, then this seems like something we should do with the library.
The library was
Part of
those
Okay.
discussions early on. And if we do wish to explore this, I think we can certainly include them in that discussion again.
When he spoke with you, or outside of the email that we got, did Alderman Johnson specify what he had in mind in terms of funding?
No. From, again, digging back in my memory banks of when we were researching it, a lot has changed. But most of the programs that I was looking at, the poet got rather small stipend, $200 to $500 for a year. They were kind of elected for a year or selected to do their term for a year. And it changed depending on the community. Some of them, they would have to you're going to come to 5 city events, 5 ribbon cuttings, or you'll kick off this ceremony with a poem. Others that I saw, and I enjoy a little bit, is kicking off a council meeting with a poem or spoken word. So we could kind of tailor it to how we're feeling, and then obviously compensate according to, if we're going to be requesting a lot of our laureate, then they should be compensated for that. So long and the short of it, we can kind of mold it to fit our needs. Did I answer your question?
You did. I'm curious as to what other people think about the very brief proposal.
Well, I think that as the Public Arts Council, I think it would be a good idea to have spoken word as part of what we do, because we do a good job with sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just another step in our progression. of supporting all the arts.
Well, you said spoken word, but I was not assuming,
Poem.
yeah, well, I mean, I know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, okay.
Yeah, so a poet, to do spoken word or a poem. And then I just think that it's another step, like I said, in the progression of
Mhm.
supporting the arts completely.
Yeah,
And then we move on to something else. Maybe it's a rotating thing where one year we do a poet laureate, another year we do a playwright, another year, so it didn't have to all be at one thing. It could morph and change
Mhm.
as time went on, which I think would keep the interest of the community and also expand what they think art is.
Like a creative laureate.
A creative laureate.
Melissa?
Yeah, you piqued my interest, especially when you mentioned the concept of having it before a council meeting. I think the one that comes to mind, of course, is at the inauguration speech for President Biden. It was very powerful and impactful and left a really good, I think it did, individuals who might not be familiar with that form of art kind of shifted gears and it's left an impression. So I'm intrigued by the concept. You mentioned a stipend, like a yearly stipend. I do just wonder what that contract looks like because I can foresee this getting popular and at various events, as you mentioned, so to ensure that they're compensated fairly, I just $250 or to $300 for a year, depending on what we're all asking of that individual, might be. I'm not as familiar with the art scene, but that might be low if we're asking them for a lot.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Let's assume
Okay.
it's 100% inflation.
Okay, sounds good.
And then, yeah, I think, like you said, in that agreement, the lawyers will assist.
Yes.
But as far, like, clearly stating, if you are going to be the city's creative laureate, or whatever we're going to land on, then the expectation is that you'll be at 10 events to do your craft, or whatever that, I think, yeah, clearly laying out the expectations and then compensation for that work.
I would like us to, I think, I'm in favor of this as a general idea, and one of the things that I'd like to put forward, or that for us to think about, is that in addition to compensation, we make this something that truly supports the artist, so it's not just somebody doing creative work to window dress the city, but what do they get? So, for example, if it is a poet, maybe the city could publish a small broadside, or, just kind of like, how are we supporting them as well as benefiting from their craft?
And this is I'm a way out of the box thinker, but maybe we could do something like work with one of the digital sign companies that, their work, whatever the creative does for their year, has specific times that it's on some of those digital boards. Maybe they would partner with us to do something like that. What's the worst they can say if we ask is no?
Or kind of like the bus stop projects that happened a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That would be a neat way to.
I think that would be better, because a lot of reading while you're driving,
Yeah,
not
true.
good.
Not good, that's a good point.
Very brief poetry.
Very brief poetry. Or just some way that it gets out there to the general public that may not attend any of the events that our creative is at. Some way that it gets out there to the public to say, this is a really cool thing.
Mhm.
Not only for our city, but for, the person that's doing it, and for all of you and the community, and it sparks interest.
It sounds like we're into it. Do any of the liaisons or Alex want to weigh in on this idea? Any thoughts?
Alex, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Sure can.
Yep. I'm in strong support of spoken word or poetry and the like. It's the arts. So I'll keep it brief. Yes, I'm in support.
Great.
If you can figure out the contract, that's, I think, the biggest piece, the stipend and the contract on this, from the city side, I think then I'm totally in support of it.
Great. If we all vote for this, for creation and support of, are we basically being like, Laura, do this? Or yes? Okay.
Yeah, as far as you'll direct me to research
Okay.
kind of similar programs and
You'll
kind
report
of
back.
cobble together a proposal of, hey, this is after researching similar communities and everything else, this is what I've found. This is something that I think might be a good concept for us to implement. And then from there, y'all can pick it apart gently. Please be kind. Yes. But then we can kind of hone it to what this body feels is appropriate.
Because we could even include a musician and
Yeah.
different iterations.
Well, shall we call the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Did you want to, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
As
Yes.
far as, did you want to change the wording, so as far as direct staff to research how the PAC may create and support a city poet laureate, or did you want that to be adjusted to city?
Great suggestion. I mean, I don't know, I'm very fond of the language of artists and residents, but I think that means something else. So a creative laureate sounds lovely to me.
I think that sounds lovely as well. And making sure that we do some kind of statement that they can include in their portfolio or their resume.
Okay, then,
Need a motion.
I will make a motion to consider with possible action the modified request by Alder Johnson on the creation and support of a creative laureate for the city of Green Bay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, that passes, and we move to number 2.
So, on to our next item. This second part of the meeting is really going to be the DGBI show. Our first one that we have here, we do have Jenny with us from DGBI, so we can eventually open the floor and she can assist with any questions or additional information we have. But the first request that we have is consideration with possible action to approve the mural design proposal presented by Downtown Green Bay to be placed on the Nitschke Bridge Tower. This is starting on page 5 of the agenda. This proposal is coming from DGBI. They are partnering with Bo Thomas, who is a very talented local artist. I think most of us are familiar with Bo's work. The mural that they are proposing is a depiction of Ray Nitschke on the Nitschke Memorial Bridge Tower. The mural is approximately 11 feet high and 15 feet wide. The image itself is located on page 7 of the agenda if anyone is interested. Not sure if we want to open the floor for questions for Jenny.
I would love to open the floor. I have some questions for Jenny.
Second.
Okay. Do we have to vote to open the floor? All in favor of opening the floor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The floor is open. Jenny, we have questions.
Jenny, can you state your name and address for the record?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. My name is Jenny Van Langenberg. My address 3174 Turquoise Trail, Green Bay, 54311. And I'm here to represent Downtown Green Bay.
Thank you. Jenny, I have 2 questions. One, were other images considered for this location? And 2, where does this source image come from, and do we have the rights to use it? Or would you all have the rights to use it?
Okay, so question 1, no other images were considered because of the name of the bridge. There is actually currently a plaque on that same tower honoring Ray Nitschke. So just so we're all aware of that, there is already something honoring him there. And it's on the side, so that would not get covered up, but it would be complementary to it, or kind of explain who the mural is about. So that's already on there. This was just something to bring a little more life to that tower. Just an image that's fun. Again, it just shows that Ray Nitschke was a strong, beloved Packer player. Kind of just, again, creates interest in that area. People could get their photo taken in front of it, as they're going, as they're walking on the bridge. That is a walkable area. And the answer to your second question about the rights to the photo, I can't speak with confidence on that. I would have to clarify that with Bo, where he got that image, and we, it's a good point to, I'm not sure how he handles his other murals that he's done with images. He's done a few other ones, throughout the years with other players. So that is a fair question.
I don't imagine that Mr. Nitschke's estate would necessarily come for the city, but I think as best practice, it would be good to have that sewn up.
Agreed.
Do
Okay.
other members have questions or other thoughts about the proposed mural?
I know a lot of people feel like the city revolves around the Packers, but it is an important part of our city. And I'm a huge Packer fan, so that's okay with me. But I like the idea of mixing art and the Packers because it just brings one more strain. And it does give something to people visiting our city. They can see Ray Nitschke and, as Jenny said, take pictures with the mural. I think it's kind of a fun upgrade.
Right, to clarify, I just want to make sure that you don't think we want to put Packer murals everywhere around the city, but I do think that with the upcoming draft, we want to make, we do want to have a few new things, but I'm also proposing other murals you will see today, and there's a few other things that'll be coming down the line later this year as well. So I'm very conscious that we don't want to plaster Packer murals all around the city, but they are very popular. They do, they're great places that people like getting their photos taken. They make national media. So again, I definitely think it's a balance, and I have no intention of putting them everywhere, but in full transparency, there is another proposal going to the Landmarks Commission today, and it is a Bart Starr mural that is being proposed to go on the back of the Bellin building. So it's definitely not interfering with the front of the building. It's in the back, but it's as you come over the Bart Starr Bridge, you would see that mural of Bart Starr and a quote by him. So just don't want anyone here surprised if they're watching the news or see something later today that is getting voted on. That was not, because it's on private property, did not need to come forth to this committee. So again, it may look like, oh, we're putting all these Packer murals up because there are two, but that would be all. Just letting you know that.
I will confess that as someone who has moved to this town as an adult, I have maybe a little less appetite for promoting $1 billion professional sports team with city funds. But I hear what you're saying about the draft and tourism and so on and so forth.
And I may not have mentioned that initially. None of the mural proposals that DGBI is presenting today,
Are
none
funded
of
by the
them are
city.
funded by the city. All of the proposals that we are reviewing today are simply requesting design review because they are located on city sites.
I stand corrected. I still wish this city would get into something other than a football team, just saying.
And I
think we are.
I think we are. Sorry.
No, I think we are. And I think that's one of the great things about us all being here and sitting here is because we are trying to move past the 60s and 70s of, that was the only thing. We're not that anymore. And, we can, and in my mind, because I do have the DNA in me that they gave me at birth
Yes.
to be a Packer fan, I just think that, we really are making great strides.
Mhm.
And from living here pretty much all of my life, it has changed a great deal, and it's great to see art out there. But it's kind of fun for me, too, to see those two things merge with a very recognized artist who could possibly get national recognition because of something like this, which will be caught on national news. So maybe Bo is going to be, our golden child that goes out into the world and creates murals other places, which would be fun too. So, I know he does work other places, but it would just be kind of neat to see him on the national stage because of what he does here.
Alyssa? Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I would love there's going to be a lot of national eyes on this. What if, I'm in support with the mural, but how do we get United Arts to be seen in that mural? Maybe a logo or something? Is that a
Alex?
possibility?
Is United Arts part of this? And I didn't see.
I mean,
that
I'm
proposal.
sorry, not United Arts. The Green Bay Arts Commission. Is there any way where we can start like adding our logo to these murals just to, so that we can get as good recognition for this effort as well?
Well,
Just putting it out there.
yeah, I mean, I think this is largely an effort of downtown Green Bay. As Laura said, we're just sort of approving the design, so I imagine they might put their logo on it, but we're an
Oh,
extension
okay.
of the city. So,
But I take Alex's point as well, because, you know, maybe that is something that in the future, when we have a mural on city property that we approve, that maybe we do put our creative logo on it, so that when other people come from other places, they may be interested in joining with us to be involved, and then they know immediately who to contact about being involved in the arts in Green Bay. It's just a connection.
Do the sculptures that we place throughout the city have any kind of, this was funded and approved via the city of Green Bay, or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Our rotating arts program, we have the city logo and the Public Arts Commission logo on those. And then as far as our permanent pieces, we do have, we don't have our logo, but we do have a worded recognition of the city.
shall we call the question? Motion, oh wait, we need to close the floor. Motion to close the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the floor is closed. I'd like to make a motion to approve the design as submitted, with the caveat that downtown Green Bay will be responsible for making sure that the appropriate rights have been secured for the image.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
All
Aye.
opposed? Okay, the modified motion passes, and that brings us to item number 3, the Cherry Landing Community Mural.
So we might be opening the floor again.
Okay. Okay.
Item 3, it's looking at page 9 of the agenda. Again, this is another mural proposal coming from downtown Green Bay. They are proposing the creation of a community mural that would be installed on the north-facing side of Cherry Deck Landing, which is located on the city deck. City deck is under the jurisdiction of the city of Green Bay, or it's city property, but it's under Parks Department's jurisdiction for approval. The mural that they are proposing is a mosaic-esque sunset that would be created in 10 different panels during their City Deck Family Show event series happening this summer. The artist is Susan, and I'm probably going to butcher this, Priest, who is, I consider any artist that's in Wisconsin a local artist, but she is from Marion, Wisconsin, and is a retired teacher who now teaches a number of interactive and group classes. Again, if we would like to, I don't know if we have questions for Jenny.
Motion to open the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The floor is open. Questions for Jenny about the Cherry Landing Community Mural?
Just to clarify, on this mural, there will be 10 panels. They'll be made out of Dibond, or painted on Dibond, but it'll all connect into one large scene. There are 5 family show events. We hope to have 2 panels get painted at every event. So the artist will kind of pre-draw the design in there, and then parents and children of all ages, everyone would be welcome to help paint in those designs each evening. So again, 5 events, 10 panels, and then at the end, so I believe the series of events ends in August, so this would get completed, I believe, like beginning of September, we could have it put up.
And Jenny, is the artist aware of, or your organization aware of the type of adhesive that needs to be used so that it is weatherproof through 4 seasons?
Yes, we're working with the Parks Department, and actually they had told me that I needed to work with an architectural engineer to make sure, or to find the best way to install the panels onto the city deck. They don't want, they're very protective of the wood on the city deck, and that's understandable. So they want to make sure that we're not, drilling a bunch of holes into it and ruining it. So we are working with Berners Schover Associates to help us with the best bracket system. So I'm working directly with Dan Ditchite and Berners Schover to make that happen. So it's actually not getting glued on there. It will be installed really well. And the intent would be to put it up and hopefully it lasts a few years. I don't anticipate it lasting forever, but if we can get 3 years out of it or so, that would be great. And then we would have that system in place that if we wanted to replace it with another mural, more different panels and do it over again with a different design, we could do that.
Great.
If we really like how it's placed and how that looks. Right now, that area is very, it's just the wood, it's a wooden wall, and I think it would really liven it up quite a bit to add this there.
Great.
I do have a brief question. You mentioned the anti-graffiti. I'm just wondering the materials. So I go down and I hang out in this spot every Saturday with my kids, and oftentimes kids are just running up that wall. And I would hope that art would deter them from doing that, especially of a mosaic nature. But is there any fear that the material itself could be harmed by interaction of that variety, rather than, I know the graffiti piece is mentioned in the proposal?
I guess there's that possibility that could happen. I know we've evaluated the area with parks. They seem to be okay with, or they are okay with it. We are putting that protective coating on it for graffiti. That it should help a little, but I guess I can't be guaranteed that would help with people trying to climb the wall.
I would say the graffiti coating that will definitely assist with any painting or drawing that occurs on it, but as far as scratching into the painted surface or scuffs or things like that, there's not really a whole lot we could do aside from, we could look at putting a plexiglass layer over the panels, but that in itself, the plexi would be scratched, and then eventually you'd need to consider removing that too. I think with these proposed to be up somewhat temporary in the grand scheme of things, 3 years, ideally we'll keep them up 3 years. If they are getting scuffed and scratched quite a lot sooner, then I think if we were to swap these out with new ones, then yeah, potentially look at some sort of acrylic panel or something to put on top of that then as well. Is that fair to say, Jenny?
I agree. I guess until we put it up, we don't really know. Valid point, though. I can't guarantee that won't happen because it could. And I would hope that the art would deter that, because right now it just kind of looks like it's a big playground. It's like same reason why people skateboard on it. It looks like a big skate park. But if we were to put the art there, will they do it? I hope not. I hope that would really deter it.
They will.
We'll try.
It's a low slope in a public area. But I think if it's a temporary piece, then that's just the cost of doing business.
I think we should give it a try.
Jenny, can you talk about how this artist and this design were selected?
Sure, to be honest, we had our event coordinator at Downtown Green Bay, who was coordinating the family shows, kind of came up with this idea. We had talked about how can we incorporate arts into these family shows, because right now they're just more entertaining, with Magic and Mischief being our entertainer that's there. Every week's a little bit different. How can we bring the arts into this to include everybody in the family being welcome to create something? And we thought, let's try to find an artist that's maybe not, super well known in the area. It doesn't have to be like, one of the more well-known ones or high-end artists. We thought, this would be a good job for somebody that's not teaching this summer, a school teacher, an art teacher that's just not teaching this summer, that might have extra time because their school's not in session, yet they're an awesome artist. And we started kind of kicking around some ideas, and then Katie, again, her name, Katie Kameen is her name, she is our coworker. She's like, well, my mom is a retired school teacher or teacher, and she showed me some of her work. And we, like I said, we took a look at it, what she's done. She kind of drew up some designs, some concepts, and we reviewed a few different options, and this is kind of what we landed on. We wanted something bright, and we thought, we ended up choosing her because then Katie could be working with her hand in hand. Katie's actually a former school teacher herself, a music teacher, and she now works for Downtown Green Bay. So she has that teaching background in the arts as well. And we thought it was a nice combination of the person putting on the event with someone else that is, an artist that they can help create these murals with the children that are attending. Because there is kind of a teaching component to this. It's not just like, here kids, free for all. It's helping to guide them and teach them some techniques while they're doing this painting on the evenings of the events.
Okay, I'm a little bummed that you all didn't look for local artists. I mean, I may have misunderstood what you just said, and I totally understand, like, oh, Katie's mom was an artist and she gets to work with her mom, like, that makes sense, and presumably she's very affordable, but I don't love this design. I understand that things need to be simple when you're working with children, but I'm also not the arbiter of this, but I'm a little disappointed that you all didn't work with Green Bay artists or Brown County artists, and I'm surprised to hear you talk about, like, not wanting to go with big name artists, because as far as I'm concerned, like, that's not a problem we have in this area, is people having too much recognition, with the exception of maybe Mr. Thomas, whose murals are well represented in our community. And I just wonder if in the future you all would consider trying, as Downtown Green Bay, trying to work with Green Bay artists, or at least Brown County artists.
Absolutely. I mean, we have, like I said, we have other projects in the hopper, and absolutely, we are working with local muralists. So yes, but there's nothing against it. This was kind of one of those situations that just unfolded, and one idea and then another, and then it just, there was no.
It was not.
It's something that kind of landed in our laps, and we're like, okay, let's run with this. So that is literally how it transpired.
So it was a rather organic kind of thing that happened.
It kind of was. It was not purposeful. We were definitely originally going to be looking around for Green Bay school teachers, and then it just kind of, like I said, she's like, well, my mom is interested in trying, can she throw her name in the hat? And she did, and we, because of the timing on this, when we had the idea and we needed to get it approved, and these family shows start in June, we just kind of ran out of time to do a wide selection for artists.
Following up on that timeline, you mentioned that Parks is in support, and maybe this is a question for staff. Does it have to also go through Parks Committee?
I believe I actually already saw it on Parks agenda.
Oh, it was, and it went through and passed, or it's on this?
I think it's on this
Okay.
agenda.
Okay.
If not, once we review it, then yes,
It will get
will.
added? Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanting to make sure, because
And same with all of the first one that we did, it'll go to Public Works for
Okay.
approval.
Okay. But this one, giving the timeliness of it, it'll end up on June 11th for approval, so that they can get the June 24th show started?
Yes.
Okay, just wanting.
Under the water.
Yeah, that's what I was looking.
Are there any other questions for Jenny, or? Okay.
Motion to close the floor?
Yes, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The floor is closed. All right, shall we call the question?
Yes.
Want to make a motion, Michelle?
I make a motion.
Make a motion to approve the proposal.
Make a motion to approve the proposal.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
The motion passes. Which brings us to item 4.
Item 4, consideration with possible action to approve the Ho Chunk Community mural proposal presented by Downtown Green Bay, Inc. to be placed beneath the Dousman Street Bridge. This proposal is located on page 15 of our agenda. Again, this is coming to us from downtown Green Bay. They are working with several artists on this project to eventually create a community paint-by-number mural that would then kind of be assisted with help from the community to be painted during Art Fest, which is going to be held July 20th through the 21st this year. The artists that they are partnering with on this project include Ken Lewis, Aaron Labonte, Don Krumphaus, and Wes Krumphaus. Their either resume or a brief bio are also in the agenda packet that we had with us. The finished mural is going to measure approximately 8 feet high by 130 feet long. Again, is located beneath the Dousman Street Bridge. And again, we are proposing to approve the design, and then Improvement Services would then have jurisdiction over approving site placement of the design.
Motion to open the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The floor is open. Questions for Jenny or general thoughts, concerns about this project?
I do have a thought. This is Sadie from Oneida Haitian Arts Program. I do love that we're trying to feature more of the tribes in Wisconsin, but I am wondering why one of the more local tribes like Menominee and Oneida wasn't considered for part of the design.
The reason for that would be, we were working with some city partners, and we were told that the Ho-Chunk community has been wanting to have a little more presence in Green Bay. There is the local office, kind of right in Oneida. I'm sure you're aware where that is. And they just said, the Ho-Chunk Nation was, I believe, the first nation here in Green Bay and used the waters of the Fox River, and we wanted to just have a mural that represented that. And so, again, there were a couple different departments of the city that said, you should really check into that option. And so we did, and we met with some members of the Ho-Chunk Nation, and they were very interested in this project. So, and we are also working to get, to have them be present in some other areas of the Art Fest celebration that we're having. It's by no means a slight against any other tribes. Like we welcome working with anyone, but in this particular project, that's the direction we decided to go. Thanks.
Other questions or thoughts about the mural? Okay, motion to close the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The floor is closed. Shall we call the question? Motion to approve the proposed mural design as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I see you saying aye, Alex. Thank you. All opposed? The motion passes as submitted. And that concludes regular business and brings us to informational.
For informational, coordinators report and project updates. Our small public art ARPA grants, those are all kind of continuing to move forward at various paces. I believe the last meeting, I said we had provided 10 kind of mini grants to artists and or organizations within the community. Out of those 10, 2 of the projects have closed out and have completed their grant requirements. And then I anticipate a lot more will continue to move forward as we're getting into the summer months, and a lot of the activities were proposed to take place. So those are all moving forward. Our Fallon Park sculptures, as I mentioned last time, footing details, those went through Parks bid. So we're kind of on that timeline as far as once those will get installed. I don't have a solid date, but I've been told it will happen during the summer. So the sculptures themselves are finished and sitting at Ben's studio, patiently waiting to be delivered and installed once our footings are in place. As far as our large ARPA-funded project, that was that $50,000 RFP. The RFP just went live last week after a number of reviews and updates and kind of held up for ease of, the scope was too large when we initially reviewed it, so we had to kind of keep honing in so that it'll be easier to actually accurately evaluate any proposals that we do receive. So that proposal's live. It is closing June 6th, so if you know anyone who's interested, let them know. It's on the city's website on our Call for Art page. I sent it out through a number of online resources as well as our email listing, so hopefully you've already heard about it. If not, I need to review the email list and add you to it. In addition to that, our rotating art sites, it's the fun time since we approved our pieces during our last meeting. It's now the fun time of rotating those out. So moving our outgoing artists off the site so that they're open for our incoming artists to come online. And then in addition to that, internally, we are also looking at finding some additional sites for that program. So hopefully expanding it to 10 sites total. Just to kind of give it a nice round number. Other than that, I know I had mentioned a while back that we were having a draft mural code. Other things have come up. It's not that it's shelved, but it's in waiting. So I can't guarantee when that will be coming to you, but that is still in the background. Again, I'm sure there's loads of other things going on, but those are the big ones.
Can I ask, is the City East sculpture complete? Because
City sculpture is complete, and I just got a lovely email from Kent a while back that he is coming back again sometime this summer, so it should be, he'll be coming back to install it.
Stair step thing in front of the apartment?
yeah, because don't quote me, but I feel like that City East construction kind of jumped up a bit. Like it should be complete in August, and I don't think originally that was the timeline for that. I think it was like November or something, right? Or October.
Quickly.
They are amazing. Shout out to those
awesome.
construction
I mean,
workers, they're great.
They go past, holy cow, what? So yeah, good question. Thank you. Any other questions? If you think of things that you want me to be aware of, please let me know.
Yeah, especially last night, council moved Laura's position to
Oh,
full-time,
yeah.
so she's got the time.
Yay!
Congratulations.
I know
Thank you.
from talking to you and just from hearing the community that the Bay Area Arts and Culture Alliance is going to go forward with some of the work that they did from the Spark GB survey. And I would love to suggest that this body charge Laura with being involved in that, or just keeping in touch with that group as they move forward.
And I have been in touch with that group throughout the process, so it's all kind of developing, and I don't know the extent of my involvement, but I would like to continue to be involved for sure, because that is exciting work, and it's exciting for the arts and culture sector across the board. But yeah. Other than that, our next meeting is going to be June 26, 2024, starting at 8:30 a.m. I'm still getting used to that time. Had a mini panic attack this morning. It's like, it's after 8. So yeah, thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone on Zoom. Good to see you all.
Recording stopped.